Okay, well, I got to give the UFC an A plus for its Paramount deal so far, and not the two numbered cards we saw, but rather the fight nights. They've been a lot of fun. And let me say this: it reminds me of when I used to watch boxing with Al Bernstein. When any fight would excite me. Now, any fight won't excite me now. I know too much about the games and whatnot, but they've done an admirable job of keeping fight nights interesting. And one thing I noticed when Bellator came to town when I was living in San Diego is, guys I was in the gym with, guys that you wouldn't have thought deserved to be in the major league or the AAA league of MMA, suddenly got asked to fight. Why? Because it's regional, right? I think when the UFC started, they were the big leagues, so that wasn't as obvious to them. But as time's gone on, they've realized, hey, when we go to a certain location, we got to put on local fighters from that location. That's how you get the actual crowds there, right? And McKinney last night was a lot of fun, right? Against his Canadian opponent. He hammer-fisted about. I've never seen a guy throw so many hammer-fists in a row. For a guy with weak wrists, that was painful to watch, but it was devastating. The next fight, I can't even pronounce the guy's name, but essentially it was against a Dutch kickboxer against an American wrestler. And what we saw there was what the story of this card is: size difference, right? That Dutch kickboxer was gigantic. And little by little, he dismantled the American wrestler, who apparently was I don't know, some type of college wrestler, to the point where he overwhelmed him, and the fight was finally a knockout. The next fight, another local guy, Arosa versus Douglas, a Brazilian. The Brazilian had devastating power. Another theme that went on this night. We know that when devastating power plays a role in a fight night, you got happy fans. Let's be honest, we don't really usually want to see decisions. We want to see knockouts, and we got one there. Chiesa did what Chiesa does best, right? He was fighting another local guy, another Washington guy. Of course, the main card's replete with Washington guys, and he put him out the way he would score a knockout, which is a rear naked choke. Hooks in and got rid of another Washington guy who was also retiring that night, which I thought was really cool. Grasso versus Barber. Devastating punch. And the choke was scary. I think it scared Mike Beltran too, and he jumped in there and he got Macy saved and rescued. It was a little scary looking at her on the ground there for a minute because we didn't know if she was seriously damaged. And this is what happens, and I think it happened with the Dutch kickboxer and the American wrestler as well. This is what happens when you've got such a big deficit in the styles. But that's also what makes MMA so exciting, right? You may be a world-class jiu-jitsu person, but you're standing up as ho-hum, and then you get an expert stand-up guy and knocks you out. And as far as Grasso goes, and Daniel Cormier said this a bunch, so I don't want to overdo it, Grasso is the best boxer in that division by far. Mexicans, obviously, boxing is a huge sport there. Grasso obviously grew up with it with her father and now Diego Lopez and everybody else. And it was a devastating punch. And an equally devastating take of the back like that. That was absolutely incredible. The main event, I called this. I knew Pfeiffer was too big for Adesanya, but let's give Adesanya credit too. He could have done what he did against Jared Cannonier in one of his last title defenses. He could have taken a safety-first approach, moved, stick to move. He didn't do that. Adesanya came out and he fought a friendly fight. It was brutal, and it was devastating. And by the way, came close to winning that fight, but he didn't win. And Pfeiffer's on his way to the next challenge. So, yeah, a really fun night. Let's hope Moicano and his opponent can give us the same kind of stuff the last three fight nights have given us. Like and follow for more on the fight.